Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina, proud to present the 2017 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Your Carolina Ford dealers. Go to yourfordchoice.com and enter the Adventure Ready giveaway to win a 2017 Escape or Fusion from your Carolina Ford dealers. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Card Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swerad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live. We're in Norms today in the Student Union on campus as we talk Niner football for the next 60 minutes or so, getting ready for a game against Middle Tennessee coming up this Saturday afternoon. It's our first afternoon kickoff at Jerry Richardson Stadium this season. 2 o'clock will kick things off in Week 10 of football this season for the 49ers. And it's a busy week on campus, too. We've got, of course, the basketball teams, both the men and the women, tipping off their season on Friday night. So it's a great weekend to be on campus this week. The women play at 5 o'clock on Friday against Duquesne. The men will tip off at 7:30 on Friday night at Halton Arena against Methodist. Now time to talk football with head coach Brad Lambert. Also with us is Kevin Donnelly. Coach, good to see you this Monday morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
So it's week number 10. It's Military Appreciation Day coming up this weekend with Middle Tennessee coming to town. They're coming off a big win down there at UTEP, so it's going to be a tough task again.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Middle Tennessee is, you got their quarterback back. He played for the first time since, I think, game 2, and Brent played pretty good, knocked the rust off, had a pretty good day. He's a fabulous player. We played against him in 15. We didn't play against him in 16. He was hurt, but seems to be back, and so be a tough challenge for us defensively. I know, he's a heck of an operator.
Coach's son, good quarterback. Let's talk, though, about the Niner defense first. Let's go back to the game on Saturday against Old Dominion. Another game where the defense played really well, gave up 6, made some big plays.
Yeah, really did. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage pretty good. When you go back and watch the video, it felt like we probably could have held them to less than 6. A couple of plays in there if we get off the field in a couple of situations, create maybe another turnover or so. Give the ball to the offense in a little bit better spot. But I was really proud of the defense, the way they were flying around. I thought they played really, really hard once you went back and watched the video. Anthony Butler, can't say enough about him. The week he had Saturday, and really the last couple of weeks he's been forced to, play every snap in the last 2 games with Carrington being out, and just really see him on a good uptick. We need for him to continue to play well. I was really proud of him. He's playing at a high level for us.
You being a defensive guy, if fans are fans of defensive football, that was a fun game to watch on both sides. They got after it a little bit. Yeah,
no question. It was a good game. I always laugh and look back at when we won the ACC championship at Wake Forest. We played Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game and ended up 9-6, and just a heck of a defensive battle. So it was a lot of fun for me to kind of battling the whole game. I'm on the sideline and you're 1 play away from winning the game, so it really, those are things that affect your decisions during the game. You never know how a game's going to play out, and the way that one was playing out, you just played around your defense and said, hey, it's a 1-play game. When they missed that field goal, we got a lost yardage play in there. Field goal's a little bit longer. Kid pushed it right. So it's always a 1-play game. You bust 1 play, and all of a sudden you win it. And we went for it down there, on the block punt. Really thought it was the right time to make that call, and went ahead and made it. And I don't know how we missed the ball, man. We were all over it. And that was, to me, was that 1 play that, hey, we could either scored right there or given the ball to offense inside the 15. And I thought that was a big play in the game when we missed that. But that was a pretty good opportunity for us. But really proud of the defense. They just kind of hung around, kept us in the game the whole night, and forced them to, really, they had to play well on defense, and they did. We missed some opportunities offensively. You go back and watch the video from the first 3rd down of the game. RJ's going to catch that ball on 3rd and 10, and he's going to rumble for 15. And you can't, those type of plays, when you miss them, they're they can get your momentum started, and that was the biggest thing we were missing. We couldn't make one of those plays to really get our momentum going and kind of get on the move, and I just thought too many missed opportunities in the game. We had the ball we threw out to the perimeter to Warpay, and Hassan kind of threw it really low, and he's going to run for a long way if we get the ball up and just a little bit off, and so we just had too many missed opportunities, I thought, offensively in the game.
It's so close to that punt because Old Dominion had 2 punts blocked the week before, so
right.
It happened to him, and again, it was close there. It's also about adjustments. We talked about this the very first drive where Old Dominion had football. You were worried about their size up front, and they were running the ball effectively right up the middle, but you kind of, after that drive, cleaned that up.
Yeah, no question. They were doing a little fold scheme in there with some of their offensive linemen, and I was kind of questioning wonder why they did that, because we move a lot up front, and that's really what happened. Is our guys started crossing some blocks and moving, and really kind of took that part of the game away, forced it to the perimeter. We really wanted force the quarterback to have to throw the ball, and he was really relegated to a 3-step game. That was the completions that really hit us, but for the most part, Lowry, Cox, we kept them in check. I thought they're I think no different coming out of the game than I thought going in. They're two really, really good backs, and thought our guys did a nice job on them.
As a whole, I've really liked to see this defense, how much it's improved over the last few weeks. I mean, from what it started with to where it is now, it really is a group that, when you look at it, very young. You had Carrington King as your lone senior in there, and now he's hurt, and Anthony Butler's taken a lot of those reps, but it's been great to see. And in this game in particular, I think just, being able to stop that first drive, they get some yards, but they get their feet kind of under them. They realize what's going on, force the third down, force them to a kick. A good early stop in the game.
Yeah, no question. You give up some plays in there, but you stop them. Don't let them in the end zone, and that's the goal. You want to hold them to 3 or less every time you go out, no matter where they put the ball down. And so, I thought our guys just really started getting a handle of the game and the pace of it, and I thought we were kind of going too fast on that first drive. Our guys were kind of like they were going too fast. So when they came to the sideline, they were talking about it as players. That's how as a coach, they were talking about that as players. We just got to settle down. We're going a little too fast, guys, and just relax. We can stop these guys, and that's in fact what happened.
And in particular with Anthony Butler and his play, I mean, we saw him all over the field all night long. It looked like you guys were blitzing more. You wanted to get to that quarterback. He's a younger guy.
Right.
Is that something, not without giving anything away, but did you see some things from Anthony that you're like, there's some situations we can use him in now and getting after the quarterback that we may continue?
He's a pretty sudden guy, and he's a pretty good blitzer, so we did want to get him involved, and we wanted to win into this game. We wanted to blitz this guy a little bit more, put him in situations, and then we were trying to force a bad play. So we got after him a little bit more than normal, no question.
Well, the last thing on the defense for now is just, I think those interior guys have just really, you've been working with them a lot in practice. Those guys like Tyler Fain, Timmy Horn, Stedman Lucas gave you some good reps in there. Question. Tommy Doctor, obviously. Taking a group that is so young, some really young players in there. I mean, they've been fantastic. Some of those guys up front were 310, 320 pounds. They run the ball, and they really shut it down in the interior after that first drive.
Yeah, Timmy Horn probably played his best game since he's been with the 49ers. He really had a good game. And the one thing that I talked to the guys this morning about when we watched the video was they're starting to do a much better job of getting off of blocks. We've been pretty good at defeating blocks and maintaining the line of scrimmage, but our next step is to get off the block and make plays. And I think we really took a step forward from that standpoint at ODU, and the guys were really getting off of blocks well and making some plays and being productive up front. And then when you command the double team, now all of a sudden, Anthony, Gimmel, those guys are running free and making a lot of plays. And that's how you're playing well up front, when you're commanding a lot of blocks and, your linebackers are running free and making some good plays for you.
On the offensive side, we also talked about how big the front was for Old Dominion. Did a good job. They came with a game plan of saying Hassan Klu's not going to run on us today, and it certainly helped them win the game. Yeah,
no question. And I think that's the way people approach us now, is we've got to take Hassan out of the game, and that's what they tried to do. And I said it after the game, and I thought going into the game their defensive front was really pretty good, and coming out of the game I think no different. You know, O'Shane's as good as there is. There's a reason he's got all those plays. He made a couple nice plays on us. Fox on the interior. I thought their two backup defensive ends, 2 and 4, Tim Ward from over here at Greensboro, I thought they did a nice job. They really forced us to make those plays, and then when we didn't make them, it really kind of shot us in the foot.
And a couple of times when we did go for a deep ball, it seemed like, Bostic one time, they recovered pretty well.
Yeah, no question. I thought Old Dominion came out and played really well on defense. I thought it was two defenses really going at each other, and, we came out on the short end.
Going forward now, as you look at the next opponent, Middle Tennessee, knowing that they want to come in and take Hassan out, what's the adjustments that we have to make?
Well, we've got to be creative in the way we run the ball. That's what I charged our offense with. We've got to find ways to run the ball and make sure we get Benny loose, and then all of a sudden, do we get our wideouts more involved in different things? And we've got to find a way to do that. I think it's important for us as a staff to be creative in how we try to run the ball, and I think that's going to be important as we move forward because we're getting ready to play an offense that's pretty good. Like with Brent in there, we went up there, 2 years ago, they hung 70 on us. So they're going to have the ability to move the ball, and we're going to have to score points and move the ball. Then we got FAU at the end of the year. We got to go to Southern Mississippi. We know what kind of place that is. So we're going to have to play well all the way around all three phases, but especially offensively, we've got to find ways to move the chains and get that momentum going. Like you always talk about, once you make that first down, then all of a sudden you get in a little rhythm, and we're going to have to do that.
I thought the offensive line responded pretty well to a group that rushes the passer really well. Gave up 1 sack, a few pressures here and there, but that's a team that's got 24, now 25 on the year, tops in the conference, 5th in the nation. I thought those guys up front did a pretty good job pass blocking.
They did, no question. I thought there's always, I tell the guys all the time, it's never as bad as you think it is. It's never as good as you think it is. And there were some bright spots in there, offensive line being one of them. I thought we pass protect pretty well. We just didn't take advantage of some opportunities, whether that's throwing the ball or catching the ball, that we've got to do and focus. We talk to our team all the time about focusing in that moment when your time comes. You've got to see the ball all the way in and the little things, because we got a great group of guys, and they're really working extremely hard. They haven't quit. They haven't let up. They're really striving to win the next game, and they're working to win the next game. We got to focus in those moments and make plays when you have those opportunities.
Let's take our first break on the show right now. A lot more to come today. Also, our special guest coming up a little bit later on is Jean Eason. And Military Appreciation Week this week as the Niners take on Middle Tennessee, 2 o'clock on Saturday at Jerry Richardson Stadium. We're back with more of Gold Mine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Let's get the big guy in place.
The Ford year-end sales event is here.
I can guide you in. No thanks, Santa. I got this. It looks a little tight. Perfect fit. Santa needs an F-150.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Hurry in for 0% financing for 72 months across a full lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And just announced, get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. Take advantage of these exclusive holiday offers only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Well, welcome back to Gold Mine Live and talking Niner football here through the hour with head coach Brad Lambert. Special guest coming up later on, Jean Eason. Also joining us, Kevin Donnelly, as always. And getting ready now for Middle Tennessee State coming in this week. A team, as we have talked about in the first segment, gets their quarterback back. And pretty good quarterback. I think probably top 5 quarterback in Conference USA, wouldn't you say?
Oh, no question. He might be the top. I voted for him last year, all conference. I thought, even though he missed games, I mean, he really is everything you want in a quarterback, and got a real good command of what they're trying to do. He's creative. He sees down the field extremely well. He's got a live arm. He's an athletic guy. So, and above all, he's a really, really good person. I mean, I know last year when they came here, he was injured and couldn't play, and I talked to him before the game, introduced him to my 2 boys, and he's he has a different perspective being a coach's son, and he just, he took a lot of time with my two sons, and he's that kind of person. So that's kind of what's even better about him. He wants to win. His will to win is really, really high. And I know I had seen one article where he talked about they could redshirt him, and he just, you listen to Coach Stockstill, and he said, Brent wants to play and win now. He wants to help us do whatever. He don't wait till next year, So it's kind of who he is. He's that competitive. They beat Syracuse up there, I think in game 2, and he got injured during the game and kept playing. I think he played 2 or 3 more series and had a fractured collarbone, dislocated collarbone. I mean, it was not a good injury, and he kept playing. He's a tough guy, so he's got everything you're looking for. But that was a big win for him on the road. They've played a tough schedule, and they had a huge win up there at Syracuse. Of course, we all got to watch on Friday night, like Syracuse beat Clemson and Middle Tennessee went in there and beat Syracuse. So it's a dangerous football team coming in here. It's played a tough schedule, and they're trying to get to bowl eligibility. So, they're going to come in, light. They'll be playing hard, no question.
That's what I was going to say to you, is because of the injury, they really need to win out. They could maybe lose one more time and still get to bowl eligibility. But now so many teams in this league are right at that bowl eligibility number, and more could come. So it's going to be tough. You probably got to get to that 7-win mark.
Yeah, no question. I mean, that's obviously their goals. Hey, let's win out one at a time and go win 7. And, we're going to try to stand in their way right here, in Charlotte. And we played them down to the wire last year. I thought we pushed that thing to overtime last year. So, our guys, we haven't got the win total, but our guys really are a confident group, and they keep working hard and playing hard, and so I expect them to come out and play well.
Well, that's going to be a tough test for your defense. We've spoken a lot about it and how much they've improved over this season, but they really do bring in an offense with the quarterback, as you mentioned, having such a, it was an injury-filled year, but was able to knock the rust off a little bit against UTEP. Didn't really have the completion percentage or the numbers that he's used to, but really you hate to have him have that warm-up game where he's a little bit rusty before he heads in here.
That's right.
It's really going to be a challenge for those guys up front to put pressure on him, and then also those cornerbacks and defensive backs back there, keeping Ty Lee and some of those other receivers in check.
Yeah, Ty's a really, really good player. I don't know if Richie will play. Richie was really successful against us last year. I know he was in the starting lineup going into last week's game, but I don't know if he'll play if he's back yet. But they're a pretty talented group out there, and then they have this freshman running back who's playing at a high level for them. They got a lot of speed on their team, and that's going to be the challenge for us defensively, is keeping a lid on all that speed. And they're pretty creative. Like they'll run some trick plays and things like that. So you have to have really good eye discipline on defense, especially in the back end, to make sure we don't turn something loose.
Well, I was listening to the UTEP Middle Tennessee game on the way home from Old Dominion, and as the team was coming back, and it seemed like they really tried to lean more on that running game and not put a lot of pressure on their quarterback. And you're right, the freshman running back, Brad Anderson, I think his name, is averaging over 60 yards a game and is doing a good job for them.
Yeah, no question. He's a good player. When you watch him on videos, he's really fast. He and Ty Lee they stand out like speed-wise. And they got a couple other guys can really run. If Richie's back, it makes him a whole nother problem to deal with, because he is, there's a reason he is all conference last year and coming into this year. I mean, that guy's he's a fabulous player. So, in offensive line wise, they're a pretty athletic group. Got a couple of big guys in there, so we're going to have to control the line of scrimmage and try to get this guy, not comfortable in the pocket, and see if we can get Brent a little bit uncomfortable and go from there. But we've got to stop the run. That's always our goal.
You mentioned more pressure on the D-backs this week. Anthony Covington got hurt late in the game against Old Dominion, so that might be a question mark for you.
Yeah, it is. We've been beat up all year in the back end. Be no different this week. We didn't have Gibbs last week. He got hurt in practice last week. We thought we were going to have him for the game against ODU. He got hurt in practice last week, so he's day-to-day. Anthony's going to be day-to-day coming out of the game there at the end. He got hit and hurt his groin again, so he'll be day-to-day. But I thought Quentin Jordan came in, played good. Our safeties are playing pretty high level. And then a guy like Robert Cheatham has just gotten better each week. He's a redshirt freshman that just continues to get better the more he plays. And he's playing at a pretty good level for us. So he's going to have to play well, and he's going to have a lot of pressure on him this week.
Made some nice plays against Old Dominion. He's, of course, the teammate of Ben DeLuca from high school in Orlando. you talked about getting pressure on the quarterback last week, 3 sacks, and it's the second week in a row you've held your opponent to the lowest now this year total yards in the game. So definitely going in the right direction with a good offense coming in like Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, trending in the right direction. But unlike playing a true freshman at quarterback last week in ODU, you're playing a guy that's really experienced at quarterback, and we play a game that's quarterback driven, and so we're gonna have to be in the right spot. We're gonna have to be really disciplined this week and keep control of this because Brent he'll take advantage of you if he gets a mismatch or if he gets something he likes or you don't cover somebody. He usually doesn't miss it.
We were really banged up at Bowling Green, but at Western Kentucky at Bowling Green, we saw that with White. He made, if there was an opening, he kind of took advantage. He's
another quarterback like Brent that's very experienced, played a lot of ball, very good talent arm-wise. And once again, like you're saying, if they see something, they usually don't miss it.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've talked a lot about their offense, but really what's carried them through the season with the injury with Stockstill is that defense. They're playing at a pretty high level in total defense. I think they're around 4th in Conference USA. So one of the better defenses you've seen along the way here for the season.
Yeah, this defense here is maybe not quite as big as everybody we've played, but it's really, really active. They'll blitz from everywhere. Like they're not afraid to blitz, so they'll bring them all over the place. This will be a tough challenge for our offensive line and backs. When you do throw the ball, picking up their blitzes, things like that. But it's because they're an really active. Front end. Number 16, their linebacker's a fabulous blitzer. He's really playing at a high level for them. They got a big guy inside that's playing well for them. So we're going to have to, they've been kind of a big play one way or another defense. FAU, whoever it is they've played, they'll get a lost yardage play, then they'll give up a big play. So we got to find ways to make some big plays on this defense because they're active up front and they move a lot and they're very athletic. So we're going to have to be on point where guys are coming from and who's going to block them.
Yeah, and you mentioned 16, Khalil Brooks. He's all over the place when you watch it on film, and he's got I think over 16 tackles for losses this year. And so, people look at the sack number, and he's got 6.5 sacks, which is a great number in college football. But the tackles for losses really can derail drives quickly.
No question. It's hard when you're in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 11. Then all of a sudden you're in 3rd and 12. I mean, you're trying to get lost yardage plays all the time. And when you get them behind the chains, it's a huge advantage for you defensively. And they've done a really good job of that. So we got to find ways to crease them and get some big plays.
As you mentioned before, a special guest today, Jean Eason, is going to be joining us, Niners offensive lineman. We will take a break right now, come back and talk with Jean as we continue at Gold Mine Live here from the Student Union at Norm's today. This is the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Let's get the big guy in place.
The Ford year-end sales event is here.
I can guide you in. No thanks, Santa. I got this. It looks a little tight. Perfect fit. Santa needs an F-150.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Hurry in for 0% financing for 72 months across a full lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And just announced, get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. Take advantage of these exclusive holiday offers only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
The Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers. This week's Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week is Sydney Rowan. Rowan is a freshman outside hitter on the volleyball team from High Point, North Carolina. She's having an outstanding freshman campaign and has become a force for Charlotte's offensive and defensive strategies. She is second on the team in kills with 311 and in digs with 272. Her hitting has helped the 49ers to a national best 10-win turnaround from last season so far. She is a mechanical engineering major and currently boasts a perfect 4.0 GPA. Sydney Rowan, the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week. This has been the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Gold Mine Live here at Norms this week. It is week 10 for Niner football, taking on Middle Tennessee this coming Saturday, 2 o'clock kickoff. Got a special guest with us. Joined the program this year, Jean Eason, offensive lineman, plays guard, center. Gene, good to see you on this Monday. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're a California guy, so tell us about coming to the East Coast. And I know Coach was really active in trying to bring you out here. Made that special trip, that last-minute trip out there to take you out to dinner.
Yeah.
I think you went to Olive Garden
Yeah,
last minute, right?
That was unique. I was actually preparing for finals when he came, so I left San Francisco State University where I was studying and went and had dinner with Coach, and then left dinner and went right back to studying. So it didn't stop. It never stopped. But you know, everybody from Coach Rich to Coach Lambert, they all showed me love, and that's why I'm sitting here right now.
Your story is certainly really interesting. I'm going to ask you to tell us about it a little bit. One of the older players of this team, because you had a special mission after high school. You went in the armed forces, went to the Army, and got that background before going to college and trying to play football. So tell us about that. What brought you to this spot, but first going to the Army?
Well, I wasn't the best student in high school, and I knew that. And the Army was there. A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, was being recruited, and his recruiter would come pick him up from the school. And from there, I met the same recruiter he had, and went through the process, and even, you know, tried to do community college a little bit before joining the Army, but I quickly realized that wasn't for me at the time. So I went and joined up, and that was a well-needed experience for me as a young man growing up, to become a man. That I learned a lot of core values that I still use today. So did that, and then in the process I had my first child, my little girl Tiara. I went home. I was kind of just working a normal 9 to 5 that I knew wasn't really going to take me anywhere. And I started picking up books and just reading, and I kept thinking to myself, I can apply, you know, all this, everything I was picking up from the books I was reading, I could apply in the classroom. So I told myself I was done with the job and that I was going to do something for myself and, you know, for the betterment of my children. Had a second child, and then I told myself I needed to be in the classroom, and I did just that. I got in the classroom.
Did you think about football still when you were in the armed forces?
You know what? It's a funny story. I told some of my teammates, I know a lot of the offensive linemen know, but I had a training mission when I got out of boot camp. I went to my first duty station over in Germany, Vilseck, Germany to be specific. And we had a training exercise in Bulgaria. I remember one night, I remember the mixtape I was listening to. I remember what I had on. I remember every detail. I even remember the smell of the tent that I was sleeping in. I remember running out of a tunnel playing college football. I didn't know where I was going to go, but I literally laid down in that bed, boots on. I had everything but my ACU top on. And this is when the iPod Touch first came out. So phones weren't even, they were out, but they weren't nowhere near where they are now. So I just remember sitting there and fantasizing in that moment, telling myself I'm gonna make that happen for myself.
That's great.
Well, tell us a little bit about, you know, you get deployed to Afghanistan. This is some real life experiences that are going on, and as you're going through that, you know, you decide after your time's up, you want to go ahead and try and get to college, further your education, play some football. What is that like, bringing that to a locker room? Because I know you feel me with this. You got to walk in there and say, my goodness, these 18-year-olds are so immature and have no idea what life's all about. And suddenly you're in there, you're nearly 27 now, and you have this world of experience already at such a young age.
Yeah, it's it taught me patience, because you have to deal with, you know, I was 18, 19 going into the Army, dealing with people that were 26, 27 that had not just one but multiple deployments. You know, all your leaders have multiple deployments. So they had to be patient with me. and other people. And you have to be able to take into consideration their background and where they've come from. So I try to, emulate what they did to me in the locker room. I have experience that I try to, tell some of the players on the team to kind of, I don't want to say stir them in the right direction, just give them leadership. A lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of the core values that I learned in the Army I still use to this day. So, not procrastinating and taking care of things in a timely fashion, time management, honor, integrity, doing the right thing. One of the things Captain Krentzman, my unit commander, used to tell me, do the right thing because it's the right thing, not because you don't want to get caught and get in trouble. So I try to do that, all the time, and I even tell my kids that all the time too.
Well, that's great that you're modeling that, and I know that in your free time you love to read. You're a voracious reader and love doing that. But also, on the lighter side, you'd like to do some cooking. All right, tell us about this. How did you get into this? What are some of your favorite things to cook? And do you have a dish like, if you had the time to make it for us right now, that would just blow our minds? So I grew up with my dad, and we, for lack of better terms, it was just me and him. So we kind of had a bachelor pad, if you will. So he cooked a lot, but one of the best things is, one of his top 3 dishes is his lasagna. And he taught me, he passed that on to me, and I'll pass that on. But I tell everyone this, I think I can make the best lasagna you've ever had in your life. If you eat meat, specifically turkey, I can make the best lasagna you've ever had in your life. And what's even more funny is, anyone that knows me know I do not like cheese. I am not a cheese, I can't do it. But I use 2 different cheeses on my lasagna. It's amazing. And spinach and mushrooms and all kind of other veggies. It's good. Is it you like the Italian genre of cooking? Yeah. That's what you like to do, a lot of pastas and garlic sauce. Bread, salad, with croutons, Italian salad dressing. I can do like a braised lamb. Braised lamb.
I'm thinking a little tailgate before the FAU game. It's Thanksgiving week. We're home this year for it. You need to put a little spread together before the game.
You give me a list of ingredients. I'll go out and get them, and then if you get Coach Lambert to let me get out, maybe an hour before team meetings start. I'll show you a thing or two. Yeah, you learn there's got to be a little trade-off. There's something, nothing's for something. I got to get my team meetings in pregame. Got to get them in.
Well, you still have over a year left to be with this team, play college football. But after that, you're studying history right now. Yeah. Maybe being a teacher, right?
Yeah. I want to teach, and I want to coach. I want to be a part of the game still. Maybe obviously not as a player, but being around it, I'm very competitive, so being in that environment I think would do good for me. But I also want to teach. I remember in high school, one of the head coaches there, or the varsity head coach, he not only was the head coach, but he was the athletic director of all sports. So I don't see why I couldn't, maybe start teaching, obviously history, and coach at the same time. And then from there, just try to work my way up. If coaching goes good, then I'll keep climbing that ladder. But if teaching goes well, then I'd like to teach at the college level. Maybe be a dean, even a principal of a high school. Education is very important to me.
I wish I would have had a principal like you growing up. I might have acted a little bit better.
You know what? Like I said, I wasn't the best student, in high school. It took some maturation on my end to finally put the education and the need for it.
But
together.
That's probably why you'll be a great teacher going forward.
Oh, yeah.
And before I let you go, I want to ask you one more thing. You mentioned, sitting back, dreaming, having that vision of coming through a tunnel. So when you finally did that first time in junior college, that first time as a Niner, what was that experience like? Was it everything you had dreamed it to be?
In junior college, it was great. It was great because I wanted to do it. But nothing compares to running out of that tunnel here. You get that green smoke going, and the lights and just those fans screaming. It makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. It's chilling. It's chilling. It's amazing. It's better than the dream. It's better than the dream.
Really enjoyed getting a chance to talk to you today. Good luck the rest of the season. Looking forward to that lasagna.
That's right. You got it.
Take care, man.
Thank you.
Jean Eason joining us here in Gold Mine Live today. Take a break, come back more with Coach Lambert as we continue on for Week 10, Middle Tennessee coming up on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Let's get the big guy in place.
The Ford year-end sales event is here.
I can guide you in. No thanks, Santa. I got this. It looks a little tight. Perfect fit. Santa needs an F-150.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Hurry in for 0% financing for 72 months across a full lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And just announced, get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. Take advantage of these exclusive holiday offers only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Well, welcome back to Gold Mine Live. Still have about 20 minutes left of the show. Got to get a couple more breaks in before we wrap it up here today. But I want to thank Jean Eason for stopping by. It's Military Appreciation Day coming up on Saturday, Veterans Day, and of course, former Army guy that went there after high school. And boy, what a great story, Coach, as he kind of really has turned his whole academic life around. He knew he wasn't a good enough student coming out of high school to go right to college, and did a lot of growing up in the Army, and boy, what a great young guy he is.
Yeah, he really is. He was a lot of fun to recruit and just to get to know. I mean, you guys got a little glimpse of him there, and just a lot of fun to be involved in him. And now for him to be here and be around him every day, and the leadership he brings, and you know, he's just a lot of fun to be around. You know, my favorite story with Gene was, you know, he knows what it's like to be without. You know, he told a story about being in Afghanistan. I don't know if he told you this, but and talking about the Afghan people and them not having anything, and he got to see that firsthand, because one of the things he told me in that recruiting process was, you know, meal plans and getting to eat a meal with the team. Like, he doesn't take that for granted. Like, he eats because he's seen what people have when they don't have something, and that was always one thing that stuck out for me. You know, him telling me that story when we were having dinner, and you know how appreciative he is of his opportunity to get an education and play college football. You know, he's just a lot of fun to be around on a daily basis.
And he really appreciates running out of that tunnel on Saturdays, and really that was really a cool story, knowing that he had said he had this vision of, I'm still going to play college football. I'm still going to run out of a tunnel. Yeah. And to be able to do that now. Yeah, and a lot of times people, you know, players will take that for granted. And, you know, and then when you see something happen like to Carrington King and all of a sudden it ends, you know, you don't play this game forever. It ends for us all at different times. But, you know, don't take it for granted, and cherish those moments when you have them, and you know, take advantage of every opportunity, because we all have limited opportunities to play this game. And you know, you put so much work in year round, and you know, we're guaranteed 12 opportunities is all we are, and so it's, you know, you gotta take advantage of every moment. So he's, like you say, he's a breath of fresh air for me every day, and he encourages me daily. It's going to be, again, the Military Appreciation Day. Got the Seats for Soldiers program, so a lot going on with the game to honor our servicemen and women. Yeah, that'll be cool. That's always one of my favorite days. You know, you just think about, there's been so many people sacrifice so much for all of us, and so it's you don't ever want to take that for granted. And you know, I had an uncle, my mom's brother. He served in the military, and you know, he's passed on now, but was in World War II. And so, you know, everybody's kind of connected somehow to somebody, and so it's something that we don't want to take lightly. And the people, our military that are out there right now, I mean, it's a serious thing, and we need to, you know, always be thinking about somebody else. We got 3 weeks of football left, 2 here at home. So this is the first of the 2 at Middle Tennessee coming in. We've talked about, if you're just joining us right now, we've talked about Middle getting their quarterback, Brent Stockstill, back, and offense starting to get clicking like we know it can from a couple of years ago. So it's going to be a tough day, but knowing that the guys had that win the last time they're home against UAB, they got that monkey off their back, and they'll be ready this week. Yeah, I think, you know, what's funny about it is we're a pretty confident group in that,
we beat a team that's got a legitimate shot to win the West in UAB. You look at an FIU team who's got a chance to win the East. We had them down. Like our guys know we can play with these people. We've got to, continue to get better each week, continue to work extremely hard in practice and prepare extremely hard. And then in those moments, make plays when we have the opportunities, because we've been right there with a lot of people. And our guys, we broke through against UAB, and we came up a little bit short against FIU and played pretty well against Marshall. And so, our guys, we got a tough 3-game stretch here. The next 3 teams we play are good football teams, and they're all trying to, go to bowl games and win their division and things like that. So we've got to, prepare extremely hard, like I say, and we'll have an opportunity. And our guys, they believe, so we got to go out and do it.
Got to get 2 breaks in. We'll take one right now. Come back with more of the show. Here to the top of the hour. Back in a moment on Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Let's get the big guy in place.
The Ford year-end sales event is here.
I can guide you in. No thanks, Santa. I got this. It looks a little tight. Perfect fit. Santa needs an F-150.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Hurry in for 0% financing for 72 months across a full lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And just announced, get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. Take advantage of these exclusive holiday offers only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live. Getting ready this week for Middle Tennessee State coming up on Saturday. 2 o'clock kickoff at Jerry Richardson Stadium. And that's an ESPN3 telecast, too, so we're going to lose Bobby Rosinski again.
That's too bad.
TV star again.
There he goes. There he goes, vacating on us again.
Walker Mail will join us on the sidelines this coming weekend. Don't forget, Friday, men's and women's doubleheader basketball gets started at Halton Arena. Bobby's going to host this show next week, too, because I'll be in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Wow,
we're going to play Oklahoma State in basketball.
Nice.
Got any,
that'll be good. That's a good atmosphere out there.
Little suggestion to go get a bite.
Eskimo Joe's, isn't it? I think that's the name of the place in Stillwater. That's where you want to go.
I've never been to Stillwater. I'm looking forward to it.
It's I'm telling you, it's a heck of an arena now. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, should be fun. That's going to be the Niners road trip next week. So a big week coming up with basketball on Friday, football on Saturday. And Coach, health-wise, you mentioned Anthony Covington. How about Hassan Klou? He turned his ankle late in the 4th quarter. It looked like he was trying to come back in. You kept Brooks in there. How's he doing today?
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. I met with him this morning. He's going to be okay. Got in treatment. I don't know if he could have come back in. He seemed like he was in a ton of pain on the field, so I just didn't want to risk it. Brooks went in, and we just let him go there at the end. So we're pretty beat up. I was thinking when you had Jean on, the other thing you forget about your secondary is a guy like Nafis Lyon, who never got to this. He was going to be a junior. A guy who was going to compete to start at corner. You got a guy like Alex Duncan you lost in the secondary for the year in 2-a-days. He tore his ACL. So you were down 2 before you ever started. And so that's a little bit the other issue in the back end is we lost a couple of guys that had played in the games and a guy like Nafis Lyon who's going to be a junior this year. And we're going to try to get him another year back because he was competing to be a starter. And so, it's been beat up on the back end pretty good.
One of the questions really coming into the season was how would the defense play? You thought that was going to be the youngest part of this team, and that's been one of the strengths of this team. So you have to be, I know the big picture, you're not happy with what it is, but going forward, such a young, talented group coming back, just a couple of guys off that starting lineup that won't be here next season. And you look at Conference USA as a whole, North Texas a couple of years ago couldn't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
FIU, same thing. And now they're playing maybe for a championship this year, so it could turn around quickly.
No question, and all these guys are back on defense next year. So the guys that are playing, Anthony Butler will be back, Gilman will be back, Tyreek, how about Alex Highsmith? Just playing at a high level for us right now. We got 2 banded outside backers that you don't really care who's in the game. Just flip them out. And you look at a guy like Timmy Horn, he continues to get better. We got a couple young guys, a guy like Nick Martin, who's just continues to get better. I hadn't been able to get him in the game. Johnny Ray continues to get better on the interior defensive line. So, it's a situation where we're asking them. They've done well this year, and we got to continue to stay on an uptick defensively. We're going to have to play well defensively against these teams we're getting ready to face, and especially Middle Tennessee.
Take that last break, come back. Have about 5 minutes left of the show to wrap this one up. Get ready for Week 10. This is Goldmine Live on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
Let's get the big guy in place.
The Ford year-end sales event is here.
I can guide you in. No thanks, Santa. I got this. Hey, it looks a little tight. Perfect fit. Santa needs an F-150.
That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Hurry in for 0% financing for 72 months across a full lineup of Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And just announced, get 0% APR for 72 months plus $1,000 cash back. Take advantage of these exclusive holiday offers only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back, Goldmine Live here at the Student Union. Just a few minutes left to show. I want to thank John Essig today back in the studio, filling in for Desmond Johnson, who's off this week. Here with Kevin Donnelly and Coach Brad Lambert. Matt Swarad with you as the Niners look for their second win of the season at home in conference play, looking for the W against Middle Tennessee State. For folks just joining us, they get the quarterback back, Brett Stockstill, one of the top quarterbacks this league, so it's going to be a challenge this week. But coming in, the Niners have been running the ball really well. This last week was a game where Old Dominion certainly did a great job to slow us down, but that's been one of the positive parts of this offense all season. I'd like to see it get ramped up again this week.
Yeah, no question. We've got to be able to run the ball, and we didn't do that well last week, and I thought ODU had a lot to do with that. We had some to do with that. We've got to continue to find ways to creatively run the ball and put our guys in a position to run the ball, because that's who we are, that's who we want to be, and then let Hassan play off of that, him included in both the running and the passing part of the game. It's going to be real critical. Another critical area for us is going to be special teams. We got to continue to play well in the specials. I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that. Each week we either tie or win the special teams from a field position standpoint. We need to do that again this week. Yeah, I had a couple things. I was going to mention that with the special teams, because what goes along with defense is that punt team, and Arthur's doing a great job. He's done that all season long, so give some credit to them. But I had another question. With the running game, it didn't look like it was a major thing at the time, but Aaron McAllister looked like he got dinged up a little bit. Is he all right? Yeah, Amac's okay. He, for the first time, fumbled the ball a couple of times, and so we've got ball security is really important. But Amac will be okay. He should be good. He and Benny will be in good shape, and we'll try to split their reps out again.
Weren't many mistakes early this last week. That was one, that drive where it looked like you were moving the football, and Aaron did fumble it. You mentioned the drop pass by R.J. Tyler earlier that could have got a drive going for you too. But outside of that, few penalties. It was a pretty clean game. Yeah, it was one of the least penalized. There were 6 penalties called in the game, that enforced. We had 4 and they had 2. Now, when you go back and watch the video, I thought there could have been a couple more. But, I thought for the most part the referees let them play, out on the field. But, we've got to take advantage of field position and things like that, create that in our special teams. Our kickoff team, we only kicked off once last week, but they had one of the best kickoff return guys, in the league. And we went down there and held him. He didn't have very, very, very long returns. So, I think our coverage teams have been doing a good job. This week will be really critical, especially if Richie's back. They'll have a dynamic guy back there. We'll have to cover things. We'll have to kick. We got to start making field goals. They're putting me in a bind, because you're like, okay, what's my yard line? I got to get this thing closer, and do I go for it? Do I punt it? All those things go through your head, and I really just was trying to get some points before the half the other night, and Nigel hit it good enough. He just left it wide right. It was 48-yarder that would have been good from 58 if he put it between the pipes. You talk about kickers too. You just wonder with confidence too. He's got the leg, but needs to make one of those to probably get some internal confidence going.
No question. And you know, kicking it's a thing of trust. You know, you got to trust all the things around you, and trust your ability, trust your leg, don't overswing. So there's a lot of visualization involved in kicking, and so you got to see something happen. You got to kind of get a feel for it, and then trust yourself and that you're going to put it between the uprights.
Mm-hmm. Well, finally, as you look at that task of Middle Tennessee State, look at some of the keys. Give us 2 or 3 keys that you guys going to hone in on this week. Well,
I think that the number one key is us controlling the line of scrimmage. We've got to do a good job up front defensively of controlling the line of scrimmage. And their running back is a good player. He's not a big back like we've been seeing. He's a real slasher, but he is a freshman. So we've got to control the line of scrimmage, keep that piece of the game under control. Because I know Brent's going to make plays. I mean, that's just who he is. He's going to make plenty of plays. So we've got to control. We can't let the running game, you know, we can't let him go in and rush for 200 yards or it'll be a long day for us. So that's going to be the real key. And then us finding a way to run the ball on this group is going to be real critical because they're real active up front. They move around a bunch. They blitz a lot. So for us to find a way to run the ball is going to be real critical, and then win the field position from a special team standpoint.
Yeah, last week you talked about running the football, get some first downs, keep the offense in the field. It was almost 2-1 in time of possession.
Yeah.
You feel this week with that explosive offense, if it's 2-1, it's not going to be a good recipe.
No question. We've got to make first downs. I don't worry about the clock, the time of possession clock, as much as what we have to do is make first downs. So you got to get the ball moving. You got to get the chains moving. You got to get in a rhythm. Coach Ad's got to get in a rhythm, calling the plays, and when you're in 2nd and long or 3rd and long, that's hard to do. You know, you've got to get the thing moving and get the chains moving and everybody get in a rhythm.
Coach, thanks so much. Have a great week this week. We'll see you on Saturday.
Okay, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Head Coach Brad Lambert with Kevin Donnelly. I'm Matt Swearan. Thanks so much for listening and watching today. Goldmine Live. Don't forget basketball doubleheader starting on Friday night. Get your tickets by going to charlotte49ers.com. Football plays 2 o'clock on Saturday against Middle Tennessee. So long, everybody.